With the FIBA Asia Cup in full swing, we're kind of wondering, because Gilas men's national basketball team has had a lot of opportunities to find and solicit help from anywhere around the globe. Let's take a look at some of the best prospects that we can possibly think of that could really give this team a better, bigger chance of winning it all. Here we go. Okay, let's start with a guy whom we believe could definitely help the guard play of the Gilas men's national basketball team. Matter of fact, this person applied for the NBA draft this past 2022, and although he went undrafted, there's still a lot of high hopes for this guy. His name is Remy. He played for the University of Kansas, where he averaged 8 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. And what we like about Remy Martin is that he brings a lot of to the table in terms of playmaking and the ability to create shots for himself and his teammates. That is something that, at a certain level, the Gilas men's national basketball team doesn't really have. True, we have the likes of Kihei, Ravenna, M30, and Bobby Ray, but are they athletic enough? Are they fast enough? Are they skilled enough to, again, create their own shot and create shots for others? This is where Remy Martin comes in and absolutely makes a big impact right away. Think of him as like a smaller or probably a better version of Mikey Williams. I'm not sure. But Remy Martin, again, he's a big prospect that we should have had in this year's Gilas men's national team. Now let's talk about Sedrick Barefield. Here's a guy who averaged 9 points, a rebound in Southern Methodist University. He's a very intriguing prospect. He's got great size. He's got great athleticism. Good athleticism, probably. We're probably stretching it a bit when we say great. He can also shoot the ball pretty well. And he's one of these guys that he knows what he is on the floor and he knows how to get his points. We need that kind of a role player. Also somebody who just hustles at the wing position, who can also play defense. We don't have a lot of reliable guards or wing players that can really play defense the way that Gabe Norwood used to do for us back in the day. And I think the buck kind of stopped there. I think after Gabe Norwood, nobody really ever looked to fill that spot. Sedrick Barefield, to me, is also a guy that he has pretty decent size, so he can definitely lock up a couple of guards, like the likes of China probably, and the likes of South Korea. If we're just trying to make our name again in the Asian scene, probably help us a bit with New Zealand. Athleticism and shooting is something that we definitely need. Sedrick Barefield, again, is a pretty good prospect for Gilas men's national basketball team. Very underrated and not really talked about player is Kihei Clark. If you guys remember him, he was the point guard for the Virginia Cavaliers when they made that magical run to the NCAA final about a couple of years ago with Kyle Guy and Diakite and all those other guys. So he's a very intriguing prospect. Not that he gives us a lot in terms of the physical contributions. I believe he's about 6 foot tall, but he is a very speedy guard, a very heady guard at that. Great IQ, great vision when he's out there on the floor, can play defense. And in the last time that he played in the NCAA tournament, he averaged about 10 points, 3 boards, and 4 assists per game. Anybody who can dish out the rock that well deserves to at least get a tryout for the Gilas men's national basketball team. Again, he doesn't bring a lot when it comes to size, but he does bring a lot when it comes to tenacity and that absolute willpower to just also not just make plays for himself, but make plays for others, and again, get after it on the defensive end. We need those kind of guys. We don't really have a lot. Again, after Gabe Norwood, we don't really have a lot of these guys who play defense. We have a lot of these guys who pretend to play defense, who play a concept team defense, but what about those guys who are like your total designation, your total purpose on this team to shut down the other team's best player? Maybe not, but hey, at the point guard position, we could definitely use some help there too. All right, the last prospect that we want to talk about is a guy that we felt should have been in the Gilas men's national basketball lineup a long time ago. So there are 3 intriguing prospects when you're talking about who could possibly make the NBA. In my own opinion, you got Kai Salto, who's right now the biggest possibility. Carl Tamayo, who's also a pretty good possibility in my mind. Renzo Bandu, and now AJ Edu is somebody that has been talked about for a very, very long time. He is a Filipino, and he's a big. So that's pretty interesting it's very important and interesting when you're talking about Philippine basketball that a big is this good, because the best big that we have so far is Junmar Fajardo, and he's not cut out for the international style of play. We talked about this in another video already. Now with AJ Edu, athletic, 6'10", great physical size, great strength, and he can definitely help us dominate the paint. If you think about the combination that you could have between him and Kai Salto, that makes for a very, very dangerous 4-5 combination, or just the ability to switch those two players and have them go in and out for each other, and making sure that the painted area is a lock for us both offensively and defensively. To give you an idea how well this kid plays, in the FIBA U18, he averaged 18 points and 14 boards. That's a pretty good stat line already for somebody from the Philippines. We haven't had a player in a very long time. I can't even remember the last time where we had a player average these types of numbers. It's one thing to always rely on an eye test, but it's another thing when the numbers are there and he himself passes both the eye test and the numerical test, where he comes off and passes off as a terrific player. So these are the 4 prospects that we believe, if somehow the SBP can get up off their ass and actually make waves, help us get to another level, because we're stuck on this level right here. I believe we're like 29th in the world. I could be wrong. We need to get up. And Tab Baldwin talked about this a long time ago, I think in 2018, where the Philippines has the potential to be the 15th in the world. But then again, we're not. Why? We're going to talk about that also in another video, between Tab Baldwin and the mindset of his coaching concepts versus Chot Reyes's. And it's just a mindset thing right now. It's about what we believe in and what these coaches believe in. We're going to talk about that soon. This has been Jack for GT Sports. I'll see you in the next one.